Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace 25th Anniversary re release. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. So, Star Wars. Even though it's very much off its peak, Star Wars is one of the most iconic brands out there, is one of the most well known brands out there in the world of pop culture, sci fi, all that. It spanned generations. It started we're about to, in 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. We're gonna hit the 50th anniversary of the first movie, which isn't this. I know it can be a little confusing, but that first movie was obviously A New Hope. Yeah, 50 years in 3 years. How crazy is that? Like literally half a century. That's nuts. And it's not even just a movie. Star Wars is just everywhere. I mean, with novels, video games, merchandise, shows, animated shows, live action, everywhere. Okay, Star Wars, no matter how you feel about it, you can't deny that it is an important franchise in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, just the brand of Star Wars and how long it's been going, how iconic it is, despite a ton of mishaps with the property. I got labeled that as a pro. But I will talk about those mishaps when we get to the cons. Believe you me, I will mention that. But anywho, another pro, is that with Phantom Menace, when it initially came out in 1999, it was probably considered the most anticipated the most anticipated thing ever. Because as you had the original trilogy ending with Return of the Jedi in 1983, led to a long gap of nothing of real importance except that I think there was like an Ewok special that was trash, but really nothing substantial like within Star Wars until it was announced, oh, George Lucas was going to be making a new trilogy, and it's going to be about Anakin, and it's going to be a backstory to him, how he started as just a kid until he eventually transformed into Darth Vader. Okay, that was the whole point of the prequels. And because of that, and because of the fact that people are like, oh my god, a new Star Wars movie. It's been so long. The hype was crazy. Like it was I obviously I wasn't born yet, so I don't know what it was like. But I've looked into it a little bit and the hype was absolutely insane. Like people went so far because this was like the late 90s, the internet was like so primitive back then. Like see now when you like want to watch a trailer, you just wait till it hits YouTube and then you watch it. Back then, well, YouTube wasn't a thing. So what people did was that they would sneak into movies. Actually, they paid to go see a movie just to see the trailer for Phantom Menace and then leave. I'm not fucking around. People did that. Really, I'm dead serious. Like that's just how things were back then. But yeah, that's how hyped this movie was. And yeah, it led to very high expectations box office wise. And sure, it didn't quite live up to grand expectations back in 1999. It still ended up being the highest grossing movie that year by a sizable amount. It made almost $1 billion, but thanks to a 3D re release in 2012, it was able to surpass $1 billion. And yeah, like Phantom Menace, it was the hype train to end all hype trains. It was like basically what Force Awakens and Endgame were like in the last like decade or so. Or No Way Home, might as well add that in there too. But Phantom Menace was kind of like the originator of the mega hype train. So yeah, but the Phantom Menace, its success financially, how well known it is, got labeled as a pro. I guess another pro is that's the 25th anniversary. 25 is a pretty substantial number. It's a very solid number, and it gives it a little bit of importance. So yeah, and I believe it was Return of the Jack. It got a re-release last year, because it was the 40th anniversary, and if I gotta find it though, I believe that one did quite well for itself. If I can, where is it? Okay, there it is. Return of the Jedi. Considering it didn't even have like a big old re-release. I didn't even mention the Star Wars re-releases back in like literally in 1997. Literally like New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi all got re-released in 1997. I guess that way to refresh the public's refresh God refresh the public on Star Wars basically, and they did very well for themselves. I mean, freaking New Hope earned like 33 million in January, which at the time was like it's just like mind blowing. It held that record for a damn near 11 years before it was overtaken by Cloverfield. But then, like Return of the Jedi, like last year, that was like 5 million. And it was only like in less than 500 theaters. I mean, that's for like a re-release like that. That's pretty good. So I definitely, so yeah, with like how successful usually Star Wars re-releases are, especially the one that happened last year, considering how like low key it was, I would say that's a good sign that people are more willing to watch Star Wars not remake re-releases than other re-releases. So I gotta label that as a pro. Um, I guess another pro is that competition isn't too like severe like at all. April was just so pathetic that pretty much all those movies are just gonna disappear in like a week or two. And this weekend you got Fall Guy, and you got Terra. Nothing serious though. Nothing like that's gonna bust all the blocks, if you will. So yeah, lack of extreme competition. I'll label that as a pro. And I think that's it with pros. Okay, cons. So Phantom Menace, sure, it made a lot of money. It was hyped to death, but when it came to the actual quality of the movie, it was not good. It just wasn't. It did not live up to all that hype. Its overall reception was pretty poor. Like going to Rotten Tomatoes had like a 52% critic score, which is definitely not what they were hoping for at all. Audience score after is a 59%, but that's after like this is like decades after it was in theaters. And that audience score, when it's like there for so long, it could get very like weird. And it's just it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. But yeah, this movie disappointed a lot of people when it came out in 1999. This movie had a lot of issues with one Jar Jar Binks, that classic character we all love. There was him. There was the fact that they had the George Lucas had the audacity to like make the Force just less cool by using metachlorians. Basically, if you have more metachlorians in your blood, you have more like in tune with the Force. It's stupid. And then like basically the movie was a lot of talking, a lot of blabbing about politics, space politics. Nobody wanted to see that. Then you had like young Anakin, young Jake Lloyd, and like what happened to Jake Lloyd is terrible. All those fans who did that to him, they're terrible for doing that to a kid. Like, come on. But yeah, like I don't think anyone really wanted to see Anakin like as a little kid. because like he didn't really do much. I mean, he did pod racing, and like that was like one of the only good parts of the movie. Pod racing, and then Duels of the Fate with like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn against Darth Maul, and Darth Maul revealing his like double lightsaber. That is peak badass right there. And that was pretty much it. And it was not the movie people really wanted, and they kind of left a sour note, a sour taste in everybody's mouths. Like that, the whole prequel trilogy for a while left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, except maybe Revenge of the Sith. That one people like quite a bit, despite some cringy moments here and there. But this was like way before the sequel trilogy, and where people were like, those prequels, maybe they weren't that bad. Oh God. But yeah, Phantom Menace, its overall reception is not the greatest, like at all. It's not like it's an awful movie. It's just not very good. So I'm gonna label that as a con. Another con is that this movie already had like a big re-release in 2012 in 3D, because this when 3D was the craze. And I mean, the re-release went pretty well. It made a nice amount of money. It opened with, gotta find it, where, okay, opened with 22 million. It had a very short life, obviously. But it added like an extra like 40 mil, 40 something mil to its total. But yeah, but that, at least with that, that was like a big old like, it's in 3D, it looks better, it's more immersive and shit. With this, as far as I know, there's no real enhancements, no real serious enhancements at least. Maybe like it's in 4K or something, but like nothing like really substantial. So yeah, the fact that this already got the big old re-release treatment, you're just doing it again, it's gonna have less of an impact. So that's a con. Another con, oh, Star Wars. What happened to you? Like once upon a time, I feel like Star Wars ruled the fucking world. It did. I remember when Force Awakens was coming out. The hype train for that was probably as ridiculous as the Phantom Menaces. Like everyone wanted to see it. Everyone was talking about it, like excited about it, foaming over the mouth. But like, yes, the story is actually going to go forward instead of backwards. We're going to see like new characters, see the old characters again, and it's going to look so much better because of modern technology. Really feeling everything, because Phantom Men, those prequels, the CGI, god damn, it does not age well. They went way too far into CGI. It was just, those movies were not ready for it at all, and as a result, they aged quite poorly. Sounds like one point the sequel trilogy has, at least looks wise, it won't age as bad as the prequels. So it's got that going for it. Um, but yeah, like Star Wars, like it was so big, and then everything went so wrong after Last Jedi. Like things just took a bad turn after that. With like Solo, that was a huge flop. And Rise of Skywalker was an absolute disaster of a movie that I never want to experience ever again. And then we haven't had a Star Wars movie in like since then. It's been 5 years. We've got nothing but Disney Plus shows, where you had some that are good, like Mandalorian, minus season three, and Andor. People like those. But then you got Book of Boba Fett, which nobody liked. You got Kenobi, which nobody liked. Ahsoka, which has a very mid reception. I can't imagine the reception of the Acolyte is going to be a whole lot better. And it's just a lot of just nothing. It's just kind of slop, honestly. Nothing that substantial, nothing that good, and it just feels like the whole brand has lost its way. Like and now it's just a shadow of its former self. Kind of like what Marvel is right now. But at least Marvel, they got Deadpool and Wolverine on the horizon. At least that should make them some money. They got that. At least Star Wars has nothing like that. It's just kind of like a dead franchise right now. So yeah, gonna label that as a con. Star Wars is fall from grace in a way. And I think that's it. I think I labeled like all the big points. I guess I can mention this movie. Its re-release. I can't imagine it's going to be in theaters for very long. It's probably going to be there for like a few, maybe like a week or so. Oh, I forgot to mention. Um, Actually, there is something that is attached to this movie that may or may not make it worth it for people. Apparently, this is supposed to be a sneak preview of the Acolyte attached to the episode 1 re-release, which I mean I guess is kind of cool, but at the same time no one's really excited about the Acolyte, so this doesn't really help anything when you think about it. Like if it was something like, say, if I don't know, I don't know, I'm trying to think. Say like, okay, hypothetical scenario that like you re-release, damn, I can't think of it. Ooh, if they re-release Phantom Menace in 2019 for its 20th anniversary, and you attach it with like a special preview of like The Mandalorian, I feel like people would be way more into that than attaching like the Acolyte to Phantom Menace. I feel like that would have worked out a lot better if you did it that way, but instead you have like this show that no one really cares about. So that's a bit of a yikes. So that I guess, yeah, this is a con, I guess. And I think that's it. So opening weekend, judging by early numbers, this is doing way better than most re-releases out there. It's actually making more than just $1 million. I think I've seen a number like 8 million or so. So I'm gonna go with 7 to 10 million. 7 to 10 million, and its final total probably like definitely less than 20. And I don't know, could it reach 500 million throughout all of its releases? I don't know. Maybe. I don't think it's super likely, but it might come close at least. And yeah, that's it. That is it. So we got one more movie to discuss. Tarot. I keep saying tarot because I see the T, but the T is supposed to be silent. Tarot. And then that'll be it for the beginning of May. So yeah, so stay tuned for that video. But yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. You want to check out more videos like this? Got playlists on the homepage, all previous prediction videos I made on the channel. You want to watch any of the ones I've done this year, any of the re-releases I've done this year, because I've done quite a few at this point. Um, you want to watch any of those? Go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I never talked about the Phantom Menace re-release because I didn't think it was necessary. So, yeah. But there are 244 episodes of canceled. I plan on ending that series at 250 because I'm kind of burned out with that, and I wanted to end on a strong number. But yeah, so its end date is, I don't know, but it's on the horizon. It's in the horizon. Okay, not immediately, but in the horizon, like in the near, hope probably near future or something. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, it won't take too long to get to 250. But yeah, so you want to watch any of the past cancel episodes I've made, all 244. You want to binge them all from beginning to now. I highly encourage you to do that. So go do it. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for a particular month. April recap, that'll be next week. Probably Wednesday, maybe not. Maybe like Monday, Tuesday, something. I'll figure it out. But yeah, that video is gonna be sad, real sad, because April was an absolute joke, which is fitting because April Fools and whatnot. But yeah, April was just a shit show. So stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.